Hey, y'all, so let's cover graphing using intercepts. We're going to cover part one in this video and just talking about what an intercept is. That's the first thing I need you to understand. If you think about, let's think about what we just did in the last videos. So let's just say we've got X and Y, and here's Y. Right here, if we have a point, this point is what? This point is 2, 0. This is a representation of X where Y is 0. This is an x-intercept if we have a line, okay? Let's just say we have a point here. This would be 0, 3, where Y is 3. This is where X is 0 and Y is 3. This, if we had a line that continued in both directions, this would be the y-intercept, where it intercepts or crosses the y-axis or even touches it. And this would be the x-intercept. That's all it means. It's where it's touching or crossing. The x-axis is the x-intercept. The y-axis is the y-intercept. Here's the definitions. X-intercept is where the graph intersects the x-axis. Y must be 0. The y-intercept is where the graph intersects the y-axis, and x must be 0. Here's another example here to show you what it looks like. I just gave you the number version to represent it. All right, the line has to either cross or touch that axis in order for it to be an intercept. All right, let's keep going. Determine the x-intercept and y-intercept if they exist for each of the lines in the following graph. All right, so this is A, B, and C. I'm going to start with A. A crosses at a y-intercept, would be where x is 0 and it's at 6. The x-intercept, y would have to be 0, and that crosses right here at -4. For B, it crosses the x at 3. Oh, I wish I had told you to pause the video and attempt this yourself. Go ahead and finish this. Where's the y-intercept? And then go ahead and do C. Y-intercept is down here at -9. And it must be written in this format, or you should write x-intercept equals 3, y-intercept equals -9. But you do need to understand that this is the ordered pair for those intercepts. For C, the x-intercept is right here at 8, and the y-intercept is at 2. Graph each using the x-intercept and y-intercept. So we're going to be doing this, especially in college algebra and trig, a lot. If you're moving on to problem solving or statistics, you may use it a little bit. All right, to find the x-intercept, and this is going to be the rule, to find the x-intercept, you let y equals 0 and solve for x. To find the y-intercept, you let x equals 0 and you solve for y. That's it. Make sure that's on your note card. Graph each using the x and y-intercept. So the first one must find the x-intercept. I'm going to let y equal 0. So 2x plus 3 times 0 is equal to 6. This becomes 2x plus 0 equals 6. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 3. So the x-intercept is 3, 0. Now the next one is to find the y-intercept. We let x equal 0 and solve for y. This becomes 0, so it's 3y equal to 6. divide both sides by 3, y equals 2. So the y-intercept is 0, 2. Now we're going to graph it, draw our line, and then label it with our original line. So our intercepts are 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 0, 2 right here. Let's draw our line. Make sure you've got arrows showing that it is continuing in both directions. And then label it 2x plus 3y equals 6. That's it. All right, I want you to pause the video and attempt this next one yourself. Come back if you have any questions, but come back to check yourself too. All right, we're going to find the x-intercept first. We're going to let y equal 0. Negative 4 times 0 is 0, so that's gone. Divide both sides by negative 5. X is equal to negative 4. Y-intercept. We let x equal 0. Negative 5 times 0 is 0. All right, we need to solve for y. I don't care who you take over to the other side. I'm just going to bring the 4y. And then divide both sides by 4. So 0, 5. Plot those points, negative 4, 0. We're going to go left. And then 0, 5. Oh. Draw your line. And label it. You do not need to write it any differently than how it was already presented. Okay, we're doing the same thing on the next, I'm guessing? Yeah. Okay, so pause the video, attempt these yourself, find the x and y intercepts, plot them, graph them, label them. That's it. So I'll rewrite it up here. To find x-intercept, you let y equal 0, solve for x. Y-intercept, let x equal 0, solve for y. All right, pause the video and attempt these yourself, and I'll be right back. Okay, so starting off with the first one, we're going to find our x-intercept. We're going to let y equal 0 and solve for x. Subtracting 1 from both sides. 3 is attached to x by multiplication, so we're going to divide both sides by 3. So x equals negative 1/3. Do not use decimals. And then for the y-intercept, we let x equal 0. On 3 times 0 is 0. So y is 1. All right, let's plot that. X is negative 1/3, which is right about there. And y is at 0, 1. There. Draw our line. And label y equals 3x plus 1. It's a different flavor. For our x-intercept, please pause the video to attempt this one yourself. So let y equal 0. Divide both sides by negative 5. 0 divided by negative 5 is 0. So 0, 0 is our first one for our x-intercept. And then for our y-intercept, we're letting x equal 0. So y equals 0. It is the same. What do we do with that? Hold on one second. Well, we can't draw a line with 1 point, so that doesn't work. So we're going to have to choose another number. We need to, like we had with our solutions, the table of solutions in one of our last videos, we're going to just choose another number to find a point on the line. It's not an intercept because the only intercept for this is the origin 0, 0. Okay. It doesn't matter what you choose. We can choose 1, probably the easiest one. Let x equals 1. So y equals -5 times 1, which is -5. So our ordered pair is 1, -5. So write 1 and then down 5, place your point. Draw your line with arrows and then label it. Okay. You're not stuck. All right, that was it for part 1. I'll see you in part 2. Let me know what questions you have.